Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. If you are new here, please go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell so you know whenever I post video. Guys, we need to talk about this 2023 Russia-Africa Summit. Before we get into this, let me just say this right here real quick. The enemy comes in many different forms. Now, I gotta choose how I speak about this real carefully because already, just because of my skin color and my parts, people think that I don't have any right to be outside of the house, let alone speaking on world issues or politics, which, shame on them. And, when it comes to Africans and people of African descent, so much of African history, shame on society for really not giving women representation in government and politics the way that they should. Countries are making huge mistakes by doing that. We'll just say that, because I guarantee you, if there were more women and representation of women in politics, there would be much less world wars, much less. But we'll get back there. And I say back there for a particular reason, because many ancient African cultures were governed by women, So, the enemy comes in many forms. And the enemy is he can make you so susceptible, to buying into his deception. He can come as an ally. He can come as a friend. He can come as a leader. He can come as a boss. He can come as a family member. He can come as a politician. Okay? The enemy likes to present himself as a friend. He likes to present himself as someone who is going to protect over you, who has your best interests at heart. And that is why it is so hard and so difficult to discern this. Now, let me say this. The African countries that were present at this summit, I am so disappointed. I'm so disappointed that these countries would be, how do I want to say, negotiating and entertaining Vladimir Putin. But you know what? To speak on this, I have to highlight that many of the leaders who you saw that were present are from countries that Africans really did not, violence on a genocidal level, on a world global colonist level, is not really in the natural mindset of Africans. Look at the ancient world. Africans weren't doing that crap. It was not until after the colonizers entered into Africa that those things started to happen. And the countries that were at this mess, that were at this summit, entertaining this mess, many of them have faced this very thing that I'm talking about. So it's very telling, the ones that were there and the ones that were not there. It is blowing my mind. And I don't know if it's because of a language barrier or what, but the fact that I don't see this being covered in the States, because you guys know I'm American, but I live in Europe. The fact that I don't see this being covered in the States is really daunting and really troubling to me, because it's like G7 should have been on top of this years ago. You cannot entertain these people, these systems that want to have a dominant class and an underclass. You cannot entertain them. I find it very, very, very ironic that this summit happened in 2023. And the first one happened in 2019. Now, you guys have heard me say this very often, and some of my followers are like, girl, you can't blame everything on Donald Trump. Watch me try. 2019. Who was president then? Okay, so we came, America, because do not be mistaken that America is not on a megaphone. America has a megaphone to the world, okay? A megaphone. Do not be mistaken in thinking that what Donald Trump unleashed, the Pandora's box of white supremacy and violence and bigotry and racism and hate that he opened, please do not be mistaken in thinking that that did not spread. That corrosive cancer didn't spread around the world. It gave a signal for people like that who want to keep a dominant race or group or culture in power and keep others below. Do not think that they didn't see Donald Trump putting this sort of stand down and stand by crap out in the world to give them a signal to say, it's good, you can come out now. And that is exactly how the enemy works. That's how the enemy works. I feel like these nations, these African nations that are actually entertaining Russia, and do not be so naive to think that Russia is entertaining these African nations. Africa is a very resource-rich continent. Russia wants a part of that. How much more damage does colonization, or colonization in the form of friendliness, have? How much more damage will it do to our motherland? And this is the motherland of all humanity. I don't care who you are, where you're from, your ancestors, the most ancient of your ancestors came from Africa. Stop destroying it. So that's why I'm so disappointed in these countries like, let me see, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Congo, Egypt, Mali, Mozambique, Uganda, Algeria, Ethiopia, Morocco, Tanzania, Angola. I thought I saw Burkina Faso in there. It's not saying it on the Wikipedia page, but the coverage that I watched on, I think it was a French channel. I believe that Burkina Faso was there. To see this is horrendous. You think going towards these alliances with Russia is going to be good for your countries? It will end in utter destruction. It is just the transatlantic slave trade wrapped up in a different face. Please, please heed people's warnings. And my plea with G7 and G20 countries would be, can we get some help here? Can we get some help here? Please spread awareness about this. Can we get some security measures into place? Can we get some advocacy into place and raising of awareness of all the atrocities that Russia has done? Namely including the Ukraine. Look at what's happening in Niger, okay? You got people out there holding up Nigerian and Nigerian, like it's a francophone country, even though it's in Africa, because of course it was colonized by France. And Emmanuel Macron made a very, very strong stance about that very recently. Check it out if you have not. But not to be confused with Nigeria, les Nigérians, people of Niger. They were holding up the Niger flag and Russian flags. And these were protests, violent protests of so many people. These violent protests are nothing different from the insurrection on January 6th. The only difference is that these people don't have power. They don't have white privilege on their side. It is the same thing that's happening in the United States, that's happening in Israel, that's happening in Spain. Stop doing this. And I encourage and urge, especially young people, but people of all ages, all races, all colors, all backgrounds, but especially people of African descent, please do not buy into this rhetoric that has you out in the street burning things and punching people and being torn away with tear gas. You know, if you are peacefully protesting, if it's a Black Lives Matter peaceful protest, great, power to you. But do not be out here destroying property, punching people in the face, breaking into government buildings, because that makes you no different from America's January 6th insurrectionists. Find an avenue to advocate, to advocate policy, peaceful protest, awareness. How are you connecting with your channels of other Pan-African connections? You can mobilize on a footman level, but don't dance with the devil. Don't dance with the devil. And I would like to emphasize also that I know that many of these officials and presidents and things like that who attended this African-Russia summit, I know that they are like power brokers. They're the same brand, just a different product, but that same brand of the Jim Jordans and the Mitch McConnells and the Senator McCarthy's and the Donald Trumps and the Ron DeSantis and the Netanyahu and the Boris Johnson and the Nigel Farage, all the same stuff. Totally, they don't care that the people who can barely afford to just live in their economies, the average people, which makes up like 90% of the people, because of course in these wealthy countries and even less wealthy countries, there's a small percentage of where all of the economic and financial growth goes to. Please don't be mistaken into that these people are any different from the Jim Jordans and the Donald Trumps and the Ron DeSantises because they're black. They also are sitting here meeting with Putin because of a hunger for power. Now, the way that the universe and karma and justice work is eventually these people will come under some sort of justice. We know that will happen. But at what cost, guys? At what cost? And if you're supporting something like this, just know that you're just supporting some small fractional of the population. Wealthy elite will benefit and profit from this, and the everyday people will suffer. It really doesn't surprise me that this type of thing is happening in 2023, because Donald Trump opened up Pandora's box of supremacy. I won't even say white supremacy, because Lord have mercy, I'm seeing black supremacist groups now. It's insanity. It's insanity. Please don't let yourself be silenced, you all. Know about these things that are happening. Put your stance out there and demand your officials, your government officials, to take a stance against this stuff as well. It's so important. Do not allow yourselves to be silenced. So the host of this was Vladimir Putin. This is from the Wikipedia page, by the way. This was in St. Petersburg. And it was co-hosted by Azali Assoumani, President of the Union of the Comoros. Other African countries, Um, Burkina Faso, yeah. Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Republic of Congo, Egypt, Eritrea, Guinea-Bissau, Libya, Mali, Mozambique, Nigeria, Senegal, South Africa. South Africa, what the heck are you thinking? Transitional Sovereignty Council, Sudan, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Algeria, Ethiopia, Mauritania, Malawi, Morocco, Somalia, Tanzania, Angola, Benin, or Benin, Bonon. I don't know if that's pronounced in the French way. Chad, Congo, Djibouti, Republic of Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Rwanda, the Seychelles, Tunisia, Zambia, Madagascar. It is. And then there's organizations, representatives from big African organizations as well. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Intergovernmental Authority on Development, African Union, New Development Bank, Africa Export-Import Bank, Economic Community of Central African States. Oh my goodness. Federal Minister for European and International Affairs of Austria. He was just a plant. He was just there listening. This is so... Oh my goodness. This is so creepy. Now listen to Putin's promises. Putin promises free grain shipments to 6 countries. Grain shipments. If that right there doesn't sound like a colonizer, I do not know what is. You know, there's a difference between handing a helping hand and having ulterior motives. Significant percentage of that trade is with just 4 countries: Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, and South Africa. And I'm sorry to say it, but the most racist, misogynistic people I have ever met in my life have been North African men here in France. You know, it's that white supremacy mentality. It is that Uncle Ruckus. It's the goon. It's the guy who is a person of color but is more racist than the colonizer, because they've done that to get in good graces with the colonizer. And the colonizer in turn uses that person to obstruct the success of the underdog people, all while keeping their hands fairly clean. So on the Wikipedia page, where it talks about the countries that did not participate, I'm not seeing very many. But, you know, I have to believe that many African countries did not participate. You know, I'm getting the sense that many didn't participate. I don't know which is which. So let's see here. I don't remember reading Somalia. Let me just pull up a map of Africa. So, I don't remember seeing Liberia. I don't remember seeing Sierra Leone. I don't remember seeing Cabo Verde. I saw Eritrea. I don't remember seeing CAR. I can't remember if I saw Botswana. I feel like I did. I don't remember seeing Lesotho. But I don't know if they kind of just lumped that together with South Africa. But yeah, The doggone majority, I don't remember seeing Tunisia, but I'm not completely sure. The doggone majority, Senegal either, now that I think about it. The majority of African representatives from African countries were there, though. We're going to have to keep talking about this. You know, this is a big one. This is a big one. So we'll come back to talk about it more. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that bell so you know whenever I post video. It really helps out my little channel. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.